Here's something you probably won't want to hear. If you think she's cheating, the truth is, she's already slipped up, and you missed the signs. But don't worry, I'm here to show you 8 tricks to catch her without her knowing. No confrontations, no detectives, just subtle clues you've been overlooking. Trust me, this is the stuff people whisper about but never tell you outright. If you're ready to face the truth, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and drop a comment telling me what city you're watching from. Let's see how far this message spreads. Trick 1. The phone is her biggest secret. You're already thinking it. She's been acting strange with her phone lately, hasn't she? It's been a subtle shift, but you've noticed it. There's always a reason why she's holding her phone just a little too close, guarding it when you're around. When's the last time you saw her leave it out in the open? And when she does, you've probably caught her quickly flipping it face down or locking the screen the second you get too close. That's not normal. Trust me. The truth is, her phone is like a secret vault she's trying to keep from you. And if she's hiding something, that phone will be the first place to expose it. Now, I'm not talking about the obvious stuff like hidden text messages. I'm talking about the little things, those tiny habits that could give her away without her even realizing it. Start by paying attention to how she uses her phone. Does she react defensively when you ask her about it? Maybe she changes the subject when you ask to borrow it, or gets weird about you checking something on it. You've probably heard the excuse, "I was just busy," or "It's nothing." But that's just a cover-up. It's guilt speaking. And if you're really paying attention, you'll start noticing how she gets defensive in a way that's not normal for a relationship built on trust. Another major red flag: check for newly downloaded apps or hidden ones. Why would she need a private vault app or one that hides messages? Maybe she says she's just storing photos. But why are there apps disguised as something innocent, like a calculator or game, that are only accessible with a password? These are the apps that cheaters use to store everything, from flirty messages to the conversations that should never see the light of day. And what about her contact list? I bet you've seen names like Rachel from work or Jessica from yoga. But do you really know these people? Dig deeper. Does the name match the number of late-night texts or the calls that always seem to be just a little too long? But here's the most dangerous part. What happens when you actually start looking? What will you find hidden there? Well, the next trick I'll show you will expose even more, and trust me, it's far more damning. Trick 2. The sudden change in her schedule. You know how it used to be. Her routine was predictable. You knew when she was working late, when she was meeting friends, and when she'd be home. But recently, things have shifted. Maybe it's a new project at work or an exciting opportunity. She says she's busy, but you've started noticing the little inconsistencies. She tells you she'll be home by 8 p.m., but somehow it's always after 9, and there's always a story about how work ran late or she got caught up with a colleague. But here's where it gets tricky. Does it feel like she's running out of excuses? Is she suddenly vague about when she'll be home or who she's meeting? Her stories used to add up, but now they're more like a jumbled mess that doesn't quite make sense. She leaves out details, gets defensive, or even changes the subject when you ask about her evening. That's not normal, and the longer this goes on, the harder it'll be for her to keep it all straight. The lies will start to unravel, and you'll start to catch on. Start paying close attention to the patterns of her absences. If she's always got a new reason for being out, but those reasons never seem to align with her usual schedule, something is up. Maybe it's a new hobby that suddenly takes priority, or maybe she's spending more time with her friends. But the truth is, when you start seeing these spontaneous events pop up too often, the alarm bells should start ringing. Cheaters get creative, and they're excellent at hiding their tracks. But patterns always reveal the truth. And it's not just about her time. Pay attention to how she reacts when you ask for details. If she's getting angry or accusing you of not trusting her, it's a classic sign she's hiding something. She'll start making you feel like the problem for asking too many questions. But in reality, the problem is her dishonesty. But let me tell you, there's a far deeper reason why her schedule is changing. This next trick will show you how to catch her red-handed. It's psychological, and once you see it, There's no going back. Stay tuned. Trick 3. The new obsession with her appearance. Have you noticed a shift in how she presents herself lately? Maybe she started paying more attention to her appearance than she ever did before. New clothes, new makeup, a sudden interest in skincare, or a hair change you didn't expect. You might think it's just a phase or her working on herself. But let's get real. This change might not be for you. Cheating isn't just about physical acts. It's also about emotional validation. When a woman starts suddenly transforming her image, it's often a sign that she's trying to impress someone else, not her partner. Think about it. When was the last time she asked for your opinion on what she was wearing, or invited you to join her on a shopping spree? Probably not recently, right? Instead, she's been getting excited about her new wardrobe, posting pictures of herself in new outfits, and spending more time getting ready. Now, don't get me wrong. Everyone wants to feel good about themselves. But here's the catch. When she's trying to impress someone else, those changes go deeper. She's not just looking for compliments from you anymore. She's looking for them from someone new, someone outside the relationship. And it's not just about clothes or hair. It's also the sudden obsession with her fitness routine. Maybe she's never cared about hitting the gym before, but now she's working out religiously. Why the sudden need for change? She says it's for her health, but it's more likely that it's about keeping up with the attention she's receiving from someone else. You might brush it off, thinking she's just focusing on herself, but here's the kicker. This glow-up is her attempt to distance herself from you emotionally. She's turning into someone else in hopes that no one, including you, will recognize the changes in her heart. But this transformation, it's about more than just her looks. There's something even more telling happening under the surface. It's a tactic she's using to cover her tracks, and once you spot it, you'll realize she's been playing you the whole time. Keep watching, because I'll reveal what happens next. It's going to change everything. Trick 4. The friends who suddenly forget you. It's funny how things change, isn't it? One moment you're always included in her social plans, and the next it's like you've become an afterthought. You've started noticing that she's going out with her friends more often, but not just with her usual crew. These new friends seem to appear out of nowhere, and suddenly you're left out of the loop. It's not that she can't have her own space. Everyone needs their own time. But when you start hearing vague stories about what her friends are doing, or when she brushes off invitations to join her and says, "It's just a girls' night," it raises a red flag. If she's so close to these friends, why don't you know them? Why aren't you invited? Start paying attention to how her friends interact with you. When she's around them, do they act differently? Are they overly cheerful when you're there, almost like they're putting on a performance? Or, even worse, do they get weird when you ask about her late nights or weekend plans? That's no coincidence. In fact, it's a classic sign that they're involved in the cover-up, playing their part to keep you in the dark. And here's the kicker. When you ask her about these new friends, does she get defensive? Does she brush you off with a smile and say something like, "Don't worry, they're just friends from work"? That's her way of deflecting. She's not just distancing herself from you emotionally, she's subtly pushing you away from her social circle. She's creating a world where you no longer belong. And she's doing it with the help of these friends who are too eager to protect her secret. What's even more suspicious is how quickly her friends start giving you excuses. Sometimes they'll even act like they didn't know she was going out, or like it was all just so spontaneous. But you know better, don't you? They're covering for her. But the real truth here is much darker than you realize. It's not just about her friends. This next move will show you exactly how far she's willing to go to keep the truth hidden from you. Trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next. Trick 5. The sudden emotional distance. You've felt it, haven't you? That growing space between you two, when she used to confide in you, share her frustrations, her joys. Now she seems distant. It's not like she's yelling at you or picking fights, but the conversations that used to be meaningful have turned shallow. When you ask her how her day went, she gives you one-word answers, avoiding deeper connection. At first, you might have told yourself it was stress or maybe she was just tired. But let's be honest here. It's more than that. When she stops opening up emotionally, When she pulls away from the very person who used to be her rock, it's a sign that someone else is filling that role. The emotional intimacy that should be shared between you is now being transferred elsewhere. Here's how it plays out. You try to share something personal, a part of your day that mattered to you, hoping for her usual warmth and support. But instead, she barely listens, barely responds. You feel like she's nodding along, but her mind is somewhere else. The worst part? She doesn't even seem to notice how much it bothers you. She's not fighting with you, but she's not with you either. There's a quiet detachment, a distance that wasn't there before. And when you point this out, when you ask her what's going on, she might even accuse you of being too needy, or worse, too paranoid. "I'm fine," she says, "you're overthinking it." But here's the real kicker. This emotional withdrawal isn't just a symptom of stress or routine, it's a defense mechanism. She's actively pushing you away to protect herself from the guilt of what she's doing. If she starts to disconnect emotionally, it's easier for her to live with the secret. The more distant she becomes, the less she feels like she's betraying you because, in her mind, she's already emotionally checked out. You might be wondering how much further this emotional shift will go. Well, you've only seen the beginning of it. In fact, it's about to get even worse. The next sign, it will hit you harder than you ever imagined. Stay tuned. Trick 6. The sudden increase in her defensiveness. You know how it goes. Things have been fine. Then out of nowhere, she starts snapping at you over the smallest things. It doesn't matter what you do. You could make her favorite dinner, take care of the chores, or just ask how her day went. But no matter the effort, you're met with irritation. It's like you're walking on eggshells around her, constantly second-guessing your every move. At first, it might feel like normal stress, right? Maybe she's just had a bad day. But when this defensiveness becomes a pattern, something deeper is going on. Why is she acting like this? Why does every question feel like an accusation to her? Why does every small comment set her off? The truth is, it's not about what you're doing, it's about what she's hiding. This kind of defensiveness is a classic psychological trick used by someone who's guilty. When guilt starts to eat away at her, she can't deal with it. It's uncomfortable, and instead of facing the guilt of her actions, she projects it onto you. She makes you the problem. You'll notice it the most when you ask any personal question about her time, her schedule, or something that feels out of the ordinary. The more you inquire, the angrier she gets. Why do you need to know? Stop questioning me. You never trust me. But this isn't just about her being tired or stressed. It's her inability to face the truth about her actions. When someone is guilty, they try to defend themselves by turning the focus onto the other person. By making you feel like the one in the wrong, it takes the spotlight off the real issue. Here's where it gets dangerous. Once this defensiveness starts, it only gets worse. You might start questioning your own actions. You'll wonder, am I overthinking this? Is it me? That's exactly what she wants. She wants to make you doubt yourself so that she doesn't have to confront the truth. But this defensiveness isn't just a defense mechanism. There's something much more powerful and much more dangerous that she's using to keep her secret safe. And it's about to be revealed. The next trick will show you how she's manipulating everything in her favor. Stick around. Trick 7. The secretive conversations and hidden apps. It's always the little things that reveal the most, isn't it? You've noticed it, I'm sure. Her phone lighting up with messages, but when you glance over, she's suddenly quick to lock it or hide it in her bag. At first, you may have brushed it off as her simply needing privacy, but that's just the first layer. This is where the real deception begins. Have you caught her suddenly becoming very secretive about her texts and calls? She says it's nothing important, but you've seen the shift in her behavior. Maybe she started keeping her phone face down, never leaving it unattended, or she makes sure to check it privately, even in the middle of a conversation with you. Every time you're around, the phone seems to be her most prized possession, and she's doing everything to protect it, because inside it is where the truth is hiding. The secretive behavior is one thing, but there's something even more telling: hidden apps. If you've noticed her downloading new apps that look perfectly innocent on the surface, things like a calculator app or a game that's never played, pay attention. You might be thinking, what's the harm? It's just an app. But those apps could be hiding something much more dangerous. Private messaging services. Some women who are trying to hide an affair use apps that disguise their true function. For example, some messaging apps can be hidden under fake names and icons, and when opened, they look like something completely harmless. But when you dig deeper, you'll find that these apps are full of encrypted conversations and hidden chats that are only meant to be seen by someone else. You may not know the exact app she's using, but start paying attention to anything that doesn't seem right. Check if she's suddenly using certain apps more often, and if those apps don't match her usual behavior. A cheater's best friend is the ability to hide evidence, and her phone is the perfect hiding place. But there's more. The most telling sign isn't even the phone itself, it's how she reacts when you ask about it. Watch carefully, because once you realize what she's hiding, the next trick will expose her completely. Stay with me. Trick 8. The sudden shift in her behavior and routine. You've started noticing the changes, small at first, but now it's obvious. Her routine is different, and so is the way she acts when you're around. The little things, like how she gets dressed, how she talks to you, or even the way she spends her time, have shifted. If this is happening, it's time to wake up and realize that something much bigger is at play. Does she suddenly have more unexpected plans that don't fit into her old routine? She used to come home straight after work, but now she's mysteriously busy on certain days, always with a vague excuse. I'm just meeting Sarah, or there's a work dinner. But when you ask for more details, she's evasive. It doesn't add up. You can't help but feel that there's something more going on, but you can't quite put your finger on it. Here's where it gets more telling. She's acting like she's too busy for you. You ask if she wants to grab dinner, but she's too tired or has plans. When was the last time she made time for you? The emotional distance has turned into physical distance, and you can see it. She's too caught up with her new routine to notice how much she's pushing you away. Suddenly, you're no longer a priority, but it's not just about her actions. There's also a subtle change in the way she talks to you. Her tone might be different, more distant, more clipped. The conversations that used to be filled with laughter and warmth have turned cold. Now, it's like you're both just going through the motions. If you've tried to initiate a meaningful conversation, you've probably been met with short answers or the typical, "I'm fine" response, but you know she's not fine. And this change in her behavior is no accident. This shift in routine and behavior is a classic sign of emotional disconnection. She's building a new life, one that doesn't include you. She's preparing for something or someone else, and you're left wondering why she stopped giving you the attention you deserve. See you in the next video.